A lot of women are being set up for failure. A lot of you are being led down the wrong path to disaster when it comes to dating and relationships. Not because dating and relationships is just so hard that there's no success to be found, but simply people are giving you misguided advice. They're projecting negativity onto the situation. They're trying to help you by giving you tips and tricks that only lead to more games being played. The advice may be well-intentioned, but it's only creating more damage, more drama, more nonsense, and more headaches for you. And I want to stop all that. I want to make sure you're getting healthy advice, because that's the key here. It's not just about having a relationship. It's about you living a healthier life. And yes, being able to have healthier, happier relationships, even making your dating a lot more positive. So I'm gonna lay out for you some of the worst advice women are getting that's keeping them single, all right? So let's get right to it. Number one is the idea of find a man who loves you more than you love him. I can't tell you how much I hate this, okay? Oh my gosh, every time I hear this piece of advice being passed around, it pisses me off because it is so misguided and it is so dysfunctional, and I'm going to explain to you why. All right, so first let's understand the premise of it. The idea is essentially by finding the man who loves you more than you love him, it's going to be safer there, it's going to be better for you, you're more likely to have a man who's going to be committed to you and serious about you. And let me tell you something, a lot of women have tried that. A lot of women have gone down that path, and please go ask them how did it work for them, and not maybe month 3, maybe not year 1. At some point, how did this thing go for them? I'm going to tell you how it went. It went horribly. It did not go as planned. It ended up being even worse than trying to find a situation that was better for them. Let me explain why. Number one, understand that if you can even begin to quantify who loves who more, you are dealing with the wrong person. You are not in the right relationship because you're starting from an unbalanced situation, all right? The idea that you can say they love you more than you love them simply says to me, you're just not in love with them. You're not into them like that. And now you may think, well, yeah, but that's okay because that's going to make it safer. No, I always say the safe choice is usually the wrong choice. Because what happens is this, the woman gets this man, and because she's not truly into him like that, more importantly, if you know me, you know I'm going to say there is no real connection there, all right? You're not really able to sustainably pour into him the way that he will need you to, all right? And his efforts initially may be because he's so infatuated, he may feel like he's in love, whatever. But he's not going to be able to keep that up because essentially you cannot be the woman that he truly needs because he's not the man you truly need. And at some point, that starts to show itself. At some point, this safe choice starts to feel like he's not getting what he's looking for. And now he starts to revert back to those ways that you were afraid you would have to deal with the other man that you may have been considering or other men you dealt with. And what I mean by that is he starts acting inappropriately. He may start to cheat. And I mention this because I can't tell you, I'm telling you, like, again, remember, I coach people all the time. I can't tell you how many times a woman has chosen a man thinking he will never do me wrong. He's lucky to have me. He's grateful. He appreciates my existence. But if he's not getting what he needs, and again, no matter how hard he's going to get you or how hard he's going in putting in his effort to get you to show you he loves you, at some point he wants a payoff. At some point he wants a level of reciprocity that you may not be able to meet because you're not truly into him enough. When that point comes, he will start to act up. When that point comes, he will start to look elsewhere to fill that void. And it may not always lead to cheating, but many times it does. But if it doesn't, it will still lead to him no longer giving you that safety net you had initially. All right. Now it becomes toxic. Now it becomes dysfunctional, and it creates all kinds of problems. The reality is that the whole premise of find a man who loves you more than you love him is coming from a very damaged mindset. And I say that respectfully. It is coming from the person that says, when I was truly into this man and I put my heart out there, I got hurt. So to protect myself, let me find someone who I'm not as into as he is into me, so that I can still stay guarded while achieving the desire to have a relationship, while still having companionship, while being able to have that family I always wanted. All right. But again, you're cheating him of the love that he deserves, and you're cheating yourself because his actions that you may perceive as love aren't even being fueled by real love in most cases. All right? Because true love flows both ways. True love is a situation where neither can quantify who loves who more. If anything, when two people are truly into each other, at worst, they're going to feel like they may love the other more, but they will never be able to say that person loves me more than I love them. Not when you're really in love with somebody. And that's what you need for a healthy relationship. That's what you need for success in the long term. The other way is going to it always causes problems. And some of you may not understand that because you're only able to see maybe a couple examples of this approach taken. And many people confuse longevity with success. What I mean by that is they think because maybe they have a grandma or auntie who passed them this information, this piece of advice, and they've been in their marriage or relationship for 25, 30 years. Oh, well, clearly this worked. Wrong. Because if for 20 of those 25 years or 28 of those 30 years has been miserable, then how the hell was it a success? If she hasn't been happy and fulfilled in this relationship, how was it good? Are they showing you the dysfunction? Are they showing you all that has gone wrong because of it? The reality is that they probably won't, because they want to defend their position and validate why they even chose to get themselves in a relationship like this. And so they're passing this on to you out of the idea that it will protect you. But I always say the same walls that you have up to protect you are the same walls blocking your blessings. So please, I hope I explained it well enough, but this is something that I'm very serious when I say this is bad advice, all right? And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to anyone who has given that advice, but it's bad advice. I mean, there's just no way around it. It is going to cause more harm than good. My desire for you is to have a great, healthy, fulfilling relationship where a connection is involved. And if you can say they love you more than you love them, there ain't no connection there. Advice number 2, or you can call this maybe an ideology that's passed along. And that is, take me as I am, flaws and all. Okay? Now listen, all right? Here's the problem with this. It sounds good, but what if your flaws are the exact reason why nobody's taking you? Now, again, I don't say that to be mean. I say that to be honest and real with you. We can't take on a mindset that essentially excuses our issues, all right? Granted, some people would love to say everyone has issues. Everyone does not have issues, all right? Everyone may have had an issue at some point or will experience an issue. Many people have healed. Many people have overcome their issues, and they're not projecting these things onto their relationships. But many people out there, and you've dealt with these individuals, and it might be you too, their issues are directly undermining their ability to have a healthy relationship. Their issues push partners away. Their issues create an unhealthy, toxic environment. So how can we then turn around and say, well, you should take me, flaws and all? No, flaws are meant to be worked on. Granted, we're always a work in progress. There's always things to improve. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. But you have to be in a mindset of trying to bring your best to the situation. And not just for the sake of relationship and not staying single, for your own quality of life, for your family relationships, for your business relationships, for every aspect of your life. You've got to be working towards being a better you. So you got to remove this take me, flaws and all. when you're going to use it as a way to turn a blind eye to the very real issues you have that are causing a problem. And listen, we have to be open and willing to receive the criticism of our issues, not in someone attacking us and trying to put us down. No one has to allow someone to beat them up over the head with criticizing them. However, when someone is giving you constructive criticism with love, with a desire to truly help you, yes, don't take so much offense to it to where now you can't allow yourself to embrace and understand what needs to happen in your life. You've got to work on yourself. You got to become better. And again, it's that mentality that is both keeping a lot of women and people in general single, all right, as well as destroying your relationships, even if you are getting in one. Now, next on the list of bad dating advice that keeps women single, all right, is let him chase you. Listen, now I know some of y'all already might be shaking your head like, oh, hell no, he needs to chase. I'm the prize, blah, blah, blah. Listen, stop. One, I have a video that discusses this whole you're the prize mindset. And I am a firm believer that both a good woman and a good man are both the prize in a relationship. Meaning we have to respect and value the blessing that each of us are when we come into that relationship. To have the mindset that I am on this higher pedestal, that I am the prize and you should worship me essentially, all right? But it creates a dynamic where then I don't view you in the same regard, or I don't uplift, praise, respect, value you the same way. That creates an off-balance relationship that's going to create a lot of resentment and a lot of issues. Or forget just creating that kind of relationship, it will set you up to choose the wrong men, or it will set you up to be attracting a lot of the wrong men, all right? Because you're not bringing the energy that shows you can appreciate that good, great man who does, yes, should be pouring into your life, should be viewing you as a prize, but you have to see him as a prize too. But let's get back to this whole letting him chase you. Because the problem is, again, the whole idea that men are supposed to be hunters and all these things. Here's what I need you to understand. The men being hunters ideology, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't account for emotional investment, especially when we're talking about love and feelings. So what I mean by that is, I do think there's a level of truth to men loving challenges, conquering things. It's like why a lot of them play video games. It's a chance to beat something, all right? But they're not in love with the video game. They're not in love with the sport. And when I say not in love with the sport, not in the way that a man is in love or desires a woman or has genuine feelings and emotions being put out for a woman. It's very different. And what you have to understand is when those emotions kick in, when genuine love and feelings and nervousness and vulnerability, that changes the dynamic completely. And so now having to chase who you love or who you are trying to love is much more difficult. It is not a fun thing. It is not something that a man desires. You're not going to find a man who has fallen in love with a woman saying, man, I hope she makes me chase her. I hope she makes this hard for me. No, that's not what he wants, because now that dynamic of him having to chase is you giving resistance. That resistance hurts too much, which is why I always say it is easier for many to chase lust than it is to chase love. And what I mean by that is, if I am a man and I only want you for sex, all right, I'm viewing you as this woman that I just want to get in bed so badly, I'm not going to be hurt by your rejection because I am locked in to my obsession of getting what I want. I am now locked into the challenge and wanting to conquer this. So when you push me away, any of that resistance, it may suck, I may not like it, but it doesn't hurt my feelings because my emotions aren't involved in that way. Whereas the dude who actually cares about you, he can't take that. He can't keep taking you, pushing him away, or making it hard for him. That becomes difficult. So I've seen situations where women would have two men in their life. and one would be pursuing very hard, and the other would be more hesitant. And let's say she's giving resistance to both. And then she and friends and people around her will say the one who is pursuing harder, he loves you, so you should be with him. And in a lot of situations, that's not the case. Again, he's only able to keep coming back because he's not truly into you. His emotions are not involved. Think about the scenarios. If you haven't been in it, think about how many scenarios where you've seen women dealing with toxic men who keep coming back. That joker won't go away. It don't matter how many times they break up. It doesn't matter how many fights they get in. It doesn't matter how bad it gets. He keeps coming back. And you know he's not for her. You know it's not a good relationship. But again, he is not. No, despite his moments where he may seem like he's being vulnerable and all these things, his emotions are not involved, or his love is not there the way that the other guy's is. So he can handle that rejection and keep going over and over and over. I'm not saying that there aren't exceptions to both sides, of course, but I think it's a very misunderstood situation. So the letting him chase you, let me add also one more thing to this. It's just the way you start is the way you'll finish. And what I mean by that is when you focus on making a man chase you, in most situations, even if he embraces this, all right, and he goes for that. And I'm not saying, again, there's exceptions to every rule. There may be people out there who made the man chase and it worked out, all right? In most cases, it does not, because it can create a lot of resentment. It can create seeds of doubt, insecurity, as well as, again, even if he embraces it, because I said the way you start is the way you finish. And what I mean by that is a chasing dynamic means one is putting more effort than the other. And what you'll find in those relationships is at some point, it will end that way. But guess how it ends? With the man expecting the woman to put in more effort than him. Essentially, he's saying, I done chased you this whole time. I got you now. Where's my reward? Where is my payback for all that I did to prove to you or to show you I want you? Okay, I did enough. Now it's for me. What's up? And again, because it wasn't a mutually beneficial, mutual effort being put in, you now have this constant back and forth. Well, you should be doing it. Well, you should be doing this, rather than two people doing together, working together to build a relationship. So that whole let him chase you, no, it's not good advice. I'm sorry. All right, so now we get to number 4. And let me tell you, there's a lot more than what I'm going to list in this video, but I'm just going to give you several that I really hit me, all right? But number 4 is the idea that online dating is full of weirdos. So let me give you a news flash. The world is full of weirdos, okay? It doesn't matter where you go. And I say that respectfully. I simply mean the world is filled with people that you may find not your flavor, all right? And so this idea that somehow online dating has a greater premium on it, I think that's really getting in the way of a lot of women seeing progress in their dating life and being able to have a relationship. We may not like it, but we have to accept that this world has become more digital, more online, all right? And meeting people in person has become harder. But it's not just harder because times have changed. It's also harder because as you get older, your opportunities decrease, meaning when you were younger, you had school, maybe that job you started off, and there may have been more opportunities there. The way that you ran in certain circles and got out more, those things may not be the same for you as you get older, you graduate from school, you're working a different type of job now, you don't get out as much. And so now your chances of meeting people have lessened. But that's where online dating comes in. And simply, I think people have to understand, listen, online dating is just a tool to meet people. It's not a guarantee that you're going to meet the love of your life, but I do know for a fact of people who have gotten married online. I have clients who have gotten married from going online, and I had to push them to go online and help them set up their profile, because between me and you, a lot of women's profiles are trash. I'm just saying the setup of the profile needs a lot of improvement. And you know what? Let me just say real quick, if you need help with improving your online dating profile, healing, finding your purpose, meeting higher quality men who are relationship minded, tapping into your feminine energy, join my special coaching program. Click the link below or in the comment section, or go to www.receivingmyblessings.com. Tons of women have joined, literally over thousands of women have joined. Many have graduated, getting exactly what they were looking for and more. Some have moved on to getting married. I'm not making it up. That's real life stories. But again, it's not just about a relationship. It's about you living a higher quality of life, you finding happiness, you finding peace, regardless of your relationship status. But it will also, as a bonus, put you in a better position or help you receive that relationship if that is what you truly desire. So again, click the link in the comment section, or go to receivingmyblessings.com. So again, back to online dating. I think a lot of people are just going about it the wrong way. They kind of have one foot in the door, one foot out. So you can't get the right results when you're not taking it seriously enough, when you're not applying yourself correctly and putting forth the right effort. I know it can seem annoying. I know it can seem scary. I know for some people I've heard, well, that means you're desperate. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean you're desperate. This means you are trying to find what can work for you. And if you're not able to get out, it's, again, a convenient way. But I'm going to add one quick thing, and I won't get too deep into it, but I just want to throw it out there. Social media has essentially turned into this pseudo online dating environment, all right? And I simply say that to say this. If you want to increase your chances of meeting people, also consider how you're setting up your social media profiles, what you're putting on your pages, all these things, because they play a role in meeting more people. And again, and having more opportunities to meet someone that you can vibe with, have a connection, and have an amazing relationship with. So just consider that. But stop with the whole online dating is full of weirdos, okay? All right, so now next on the list, another piece of bad dating advice keeping women single is the idea that time heals all wounds, all right? Again, this is one of those things that it sounds pretty. And yes, time can be a contributing factor to healing, but time alone heals nothing, all right? The unfortunate reality is that there are women who have gone to their grave never addressing their traumas, never healing from their past, never correcting some of their deeper issues. I feel the need to say this right now. Many of you are living it, not just within yourselves, but your own mothers, your sisters, your female or the family members, the women in your family, all right? And you're seeing how they've continued to just get older and continue to turn a blind eye to clear toxic energy that they're holding on to, all right? And so time did nothing for them. Time has not changed their negativity. Time has not changed how difficult they are. Time has not made relationships easier for them, because it's not about time. It's about the work that we have to put in. We've got to be willing to take a more intentional approach when it comes to healing. I want to encourage you, whether that's going to a coach or a therapist, that you do what is necessary to start the healing process. As I mentioned in the membership program, I lay that out for you as well, or you can check out my book, Life After Heartbreak. But the point is, I don't care how you do it. I just want you to do it. I just want you to do it. You ain't got to come to me. Go to whoever that's going to make it work and is going to actually help you. Now, I feel compelled to say this, and this is not shade to anyone. Whoever you go to, please make sure that it doesn't turn into you just venting and having a chance to get things off your chest while in the session. And make sure it's about actual action steps to healing and resolving. A lot of people go to a therapist or a coach and they simply learn how to cope, learn how to manage, all right? And essentially what that means is you're suppressing the issue. You're not resolving the issue. And so nothing is solved, and they're still having the same negative cycle continue in their life. And they'll say to me, well, I've gone to therapy, I'm doing the work. And I'm proud of you for taking those steps, but you also have to be mindful that there has to be a better approach taken, and it can't just be you sitting there talking about your life all day. That's part of it, but there's more to it than that. So be mindful in that, with that issue, all right? When you're seeking the help that you need from a third party. But again, time does not heal all wounds. We have to take certain steps. We have to be intentional. I know it's tough. It is a difficult process, but it is the best thing you could ever do for yourself. And you can talk to anyone who's gone through a healing process, who's truly healed and let go of all that negative energy, how much better they feel. Again, forget even getting a man right now. You will feel better. If you got kids, your kids will be happier with you because your energy is going to change. Everyone in your environment that engages with you is going to see the change in you, but you will love yourself more. You will be happy with yourself, and that is so important. So be sure to not think that just letting time pass is going to be enough. All right, so we got 2 more to go. All right, so this one, it won't apply to everybody, but it's going to resonate with a lot of you. All right. And so the next bad piece of dating advice, keeping women single, is that you don't need a man because Jesus is your husband. Okay. Now listen. I ain't got no problems with Jesus. I ain't got no problems with God. None of it. Okay. And I ain't have no problems if you want to make him your husband. The problem is when this is used as a scapegoat, when this is used to essentially hide behind God, hide behind our religion, spirituality, whatever, all right? And not actually have to put ourselves out there and do the work. And that's the unfortunate part about this, is that it throws a blanket over, a blanket over the issues, all right? It says, nah, you're not the problem. It's everything else but you. So you know what? Just love you some Jesus and you're good to go. And it's like, no, that you have to be willing to look deeper within yourself. You have to be willing to say, you know what? Maybe there are things I can improve. Now, granted, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Is it possible for you as a woman to have done the work, to be on point, and you want a relationship and it's not happening yet? Yes, because there's a process to everything. The timing is not ours, especially if we're a believer in God. The timing is not ours, it's his. And so we have to understand that there may be a waiting period. I would argue, though, that if we are still waiting, there is still more preparation to go. And preparation may not be having to heal, because maybe you did that. It may not be how you're presenting yourself to the world, because you might be doing a great job with that. Your energy might be amazing. It might be certain things that need to be accomplished in your life before that man can be brought into your life. For example, I'll never forget one time, speaking at an event, this was years ago. I had got booked for an event, and after the event, a woman came to me and she said, you know, she has this best friend, male best friend. They love each other, they're in love with each other, but he says he's not ready, you know? And she's like, I don't understand it. Why is it not working? You know, I've done everything I'm supposed to do. And I said, well, listen, maybe God's making you wait because there's something in your life you haven't gotten done yet that he wants you to finish. And she was like, no, I don't think that there's anything that I need to do. I was like, let me ask you something. Is there anything that you feel in your spirit God has been telling you to do that you have yet to do? And she gave it some thought. She said, well, to be honest, yes, he's been telling me to write a book. I said, okay, did you write the book? No. I said, okay, let me explain something to you. If that man comes into your life before you write that book, you'll never write the book. You will become so locked into your relationship. You will become so consumed by this man and your new life and now building your family that you will let the writing of this book fall to the wayside. So if this is part of your path, if this is part of your purpose, and remember, this is very important to understand. If you're asking for God to bless you and where's the man you have for me, then you have to understand that has to go through his process of receiving it. So his process of receiving it may include you having to accomplish or do certain tasks. And so in her situation, it was that book. All right. For some of you, it may be a business. It may be a move somewhere. It may be whatever. All right. It may be reconciliations. That just kind of hit my spirit. It may be reconciliation with one of your parents that you've been putting off for a long time. All right. There may be something that has to be done first because it's a huge piece of the puzzle to set you up for success, because you have to understand this. Anyone can go get a relationship. If you really want it bad enough, and depending on how you lower your standards, you can go get a relationship. But God's trying to set you up with the right relationship. And not just the right relationship, a successful relationship. A lot of people get into relationships before they are truly ready, which then doesn't allow there to be a proper foundation, and that's why it all falls apart. That's not what God's trying to set you up for. So you got to understand that there may be more to do, all right? But back to, you don't need a man because Jesus is your husband, all right? Again, I simply do not want you to hide behind God, because many women will say, well, I gave my life to the church, or I gave my life to God and still no man. I'm like, yeah, because you're not walking with God, you're hiding behind him. All right. You're using him as a shield. He's simply become another form of a wall up. All right. He's become that quote unquote protection, but in an unhealthy way, because again, you're paralyzed. You're not actually moving forward with him. You're just staying back and saying, okay, God, you kind of figure this out for me. It's not how this works. We got to take an active approach, and we have to make sure we understand what we need to do in the process. So that, again, no problems with you wanting to marry Jesus. I'm just saying, don't hide behind that and use it as a scapegoat. And now last on this list, all right, and like I said, there's so much we could talk about, but I'm just going to give you one more. And this is kind of reiterating a point that I made earlier. And this piece of advice is, if they can't take you at your worst, they don't deserve you at your best, all right? So I understand why people think that's wise counsel, and that makes sense. But your worst may be way too much for anyone to deal with. So let's paint the picture. Imagine if a man said, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And his worst is being physically abusive. His worst is cheating on you. His worst is complete toxic energy and dysfunction. Is it right for him to then say, oh, because you didn't want to deal with that, you don't deserve the good me? Hell no. That's unreasonable. There's a line that has to be drawn. I think what is a more appropriate thing is, if you cannot stick by me when life hits me with things I can't control, then you don't deserve me when I am thriving in life. So basically it's like, listen, and let's use men for example. If a man is doing well and then he loses his job, right? There's a difference between expecting a woman to stick by him when he's not even pursuing to find work anymore, when he's making excuses, when he is doing nothing to provide. And again, it doesn't just mean provide financially. Take some burden off the woman, help in some way until he can find a job and stabilize himself, or however, whatever needs to happen in that dynamic for him to be an asset in the relationship. That's very different versus him expecting you to stick by him while he is putting that effort in, while he is doing his, he's holding up his end of the bargain, while he is still trying to pour into you. Now that's a man that can say, okay, if you can't stick by me when this thing that I can't control, this being laid off happens, even when I'm still trying to give you my best, then you don't deserve me when everything's going great. That's reasonable. So yes, as a woman, that's okay to say. But if your worst is bad, toxic behavior, you need to fix that. Period. I don't care who you are. You gotta fix that. We have to stop. Our partners should not always have to be expected to fix us and deal with the toxic side of us if we're not willing to do anything about it. That's the thing. It's one thing to have a toxic moment. We're all human. We're going to do some stupid stuff sometimes, okay? It happens. I get it. Man or woman, I ain't knocking nobody. However, to continuously dwell in stupidity, to continuously dwell in engaging in nonsense and unhealthy behavior, no, nobody should have to accept that. And if I have to accept that to get your best, you can get the hell on. I ain't got time for that, and you should not have time for that. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. All right, let me get right to letting you know that there's gonna be some things in this video that may catch you off guard. For some of you, it may trigger some things.
or may have your head shaking no or want to throw your shoe at the screen. All right.